Righty, folks, welcome back to Division Therapy, and let's have a round of applause. Episode 10, baby.
Episode 10. Episode
Episode
10.
10. At the beginning of this, Brett and I said the goal is to get to episode 10. And listen, I think I saw a stat or a TikTok, or I don't know what I saw, that most podcasts don't even make it to episode 5.
I saw
Usually
that. I saw
some
that. Yeah.
yeah. Some people say, "Oh, we should start a podcast and we should start doing this," and they'll do it a couple times, and then they, luckily for us, can't run out of things to talk about when new things are happening
That's
every
right.
single
That's
week.
right. And
But
man, it's been so fun as well. Like I don't know about you, but I've had such a great time
yeah,
talking
yeah.
ball, talking ball.
Yeah,
Honestly,
absolutely.
honestly, when you started that, I thought you were gonna say congratulations to Brett for the Mets for winning a series. I thought that's where you were going. That's why I was like,
Well,
oh,
congratulations for that as well. That is very exciting on your end. It is against the lowly Angels, but
listen,
you are also the
anything.
lowly Mets.
Anything
So there
counts
you go.
right now.
There you go.
Anything counts.
But yeah, welcome to episode 10. If you're listening, we're glad you're here, and we just talked about the Mets. So let's get started. Brett, tell me about this series. Tell me what happened.
All right. So as Liam mentioned, we were facing the lowly Los Angeles Angels
Of Anaheim.
of Anaheim, and a series win,
Hmm.
which is incredible.
Yeah. Hmm.
Took 2 of 3 versus the Angels. Should have been a sweep, but we'll get into that.
Yep.
First game, we had Christian Scott on the mound. I don't know if you remember, but Christian Scott went about probably 10 days ago starting, and I think he got maybe 4 outs and he was pulled, and then he was sent
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And even though Mendoza was like, we expect, in the post game from his first start, it was like, we expect him to be in the rotation, to some semblance of he's going to have another shot. And so
Yeah.
this was his other shot, and he looked so much better.
Hmm.
Before the game, he was talking about how the first start he kind of pitched emotionally and he let his emotions get the best of him. Not the case this time. He looked really good.
Yeah.
And luckily, the Mets bullpen just absolutely showed up. They didn't allow a single hitter to
Hmm.
reach in the rest of the game. So they retired 21 Angels hitters in a row.
Yeah.
So honestly, hat tip to the Mets bullpen.
Absolutely.
It wasn't looking good for some of the game. They were down. They were down. And luckily, Ronnie Mauricio, who we were talking in the episode in last
Yeah. Yeah.
episode,
Yeah. You were talking about that you
where
want
I
to get
said,
rid of him. You want to send
well,
him
no, no,
down.
no, 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 no. Well, yes, but I was saying, why would you give this guy anything other than a breaking ball? He
Yeah.
clearly cannot hit the breaking ball. He only can hit the fastball. They serve up a fastball to him, and he smokes it.
Yeah.
This
That was
thing
a
went
great home run.
crazy,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so shout out. I mean, that was just like a great team win. As I said on the last episode, I wasn't expecting anything because they didn't have a day off in between the last game in New York, and so
Yeah.
wasn't expecting anything huge. And then to follow up Ronnie Mauricio's big day, game 2, what does he do? He breaks his thumb. Fractured thumb, out 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, just sliding into first base. That's just something I'll never understand. I just never think it's worth it for
Yeah.
people to slide into first base. There's no way, like, I don't know what the statistics are, but it just doesn't seem feasible that you get such an advantage for the scenario you put yourself in. And so, unfortunately, Ronnie Mauricio out 6 to 8 weeks. That means the Mets are without their starting shortstop, Francisco Lindor, and now without their backup shortstop, Ronnie Mauricio. Luckily,
Yeah.
they do have a shortstop
They,
on
luckily-
the roster.
they do have a starting shortstop.
They do have
who has
Bo
been
Bichette,
starting.
who has played shortstop in his career. I don't know if everyone knows that, but so he took over as the shortstop. Game 2, honestly, kind of heartbreaking. They
Yeah.
had every single chance to win this game. Bases loaded in the 7th inning, nobody out, down 3-2, and Sam Bachman just shuts out just looked amazing. And
Was it bad? Was it bad at bats, or was just generally just elite pitching from Sam Bachman?
it was a little bit of both. He
Mhm.
escaped the jam with force out at home, so
Yeah.
you gotta get the ball in the outfield. Like, you gotta get the ball in the air, and they weren't able to really do that in a way that would score them a run. And so
Yeah.
they paid for it. They almost got out of it in the 10th as well. In extra innings, Angels had bases loaded, no outs, and then it was bases loaded, two outs, and you think, okay, maybe you're facing, Peraza of all people, like Oswald Peraza. You
Yeah.
think, okay, easy out, whatever. Nope, just dumps one into the outfield, and that's game. And so that was kind of heartbreaking. And then today, huge game
Yeah.
from my boy who gets ridiculed a lot on this podcast, Mark
Yeah.
Vientos. Mark
Yeah.
Vientos had a huge game, and I will admit, because I am a man of the people, I gotta tell a quick story.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was so frustrated with the team today that I was like, all right, let me go like match these single socks with their pairs, and I walk out of the room. I walk out of the room during Vientos's at bat. I come back, and Vientos hits a 2-run homer.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe I should. But then they scored a double. They scored an RBI double, Benj's RBI double later in the game with me watching, and so I was like, okay, like I'm not the jinx.
Yeah.
Then I left the room one more time, and Vientos hits another 2-run homer. So I really don't know. I really don't know. Maybe this guy just has it out for me. And
Maybe.
yeah,
Maybe.
so it's like, but shout out Mark Vientos, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 5 runs, total in the game. So having 4 RBIs is huge. Clay Holmes, we got to talk about it.
What? He has just been incredible.
He's
Like it's
been
been a
incredible.
guaranteed win so far for him the
League
last couple of outings, man.
league leading ERA.
Yeah,
I
man, it's
mean,
crazy.
who would have thought? Just insane. And honestly, the first inning, it didn't look like he had it. I texted one of my buddies and I was like, I bet you the bullpen's in by the fifth inning. Like there's
Yeah.
no he doesn't look sharp right now. He's not able to miss bats. He's throwing too many balls. I just thought it was gonna be one of those games. No, no, I was dead wrong. Pitched 6 2/3, 4 hits, struck out 6, 14 whiffs. So it's okay. And the Angels are weird, dude. Only one lefty in the lineup today.
Yeah.
So was it the Mets playing well, or was it the Mets just beating up on the Angels? Who's to say? But some great defense by the Mets today. MJ Melendez was with a huge catch in the sixth, and then one of the best catches I've seen all year from Carson Bench. I mean, the way that this guy is able to cover ground in the outfield is incredible.
Yeah.
He is so fast, and he gets such a good first jump. It's really insane. And I'd be remiss to not mention Game 2. Nolan McLean was pitching and only went 4 innings.
Yeah.
He didn't look good,
Yeah.
and you know this is kind of not, it's not becoming a trend necessarily, but he hasn't been able to get deep into ball games. He kind of falls apart a little bit by the fifth inning, so it's just something to keep our eyes on. But with that being said, huge series win from the Mets. Didn't ruin my entire weekend. So if
There
they're
you
gonna
go.
if they're gonna make me stay up late against in LA and for this West Coast road trip, like I want to see some wins, and they
Yeah.
delivered. So still in last place because, as we'll get to, the Phillies kind of crushed this weekend. But
They did.
yeah, really happy to get a win today. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad he got a series win. Obviously, kind of a little bit of positivity goes a long way here, and it's a long season. And I honestly think we can get into it a little bit later, or we can get into it now. I'm like, realistically speaking, and I think I asked this in a live yesterday to a creator that I follow, like who they were more surprised about like their lack of success, and he said the Mets, and I agreed with that because they did so much more in the offseason. But do you think that the Mets are more likely to turn it around than the Phillies, or do you think both, like, you still are on the train, like, after this potential series win, that the
yeah,
season is
yeah.
still over?
I mean, it's a good question. It is. It's interesting because I see both sides to it. I see like the Mets did so much, but they also changed so much that there
Yeah.
are now you have Mendoza managing an entirely new coaching staff and their personalities, and you have about
Mhm.
7, maybe 8 new players, and you lost your some of your best guys in the clubhouse. So, and then you see the Phillies, who are underperforming, fired their manager and go on a winning streak. So
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna
I
kind of
really do
cop
think
out and
that's a
say
I
I don't
really do think
know.
that's a honeymoon period though. Like
Totally, totally.
and
We'll get
obviously
into it.
yeah,
We'll get
we'll
into it.
get into
Yeah.
that, but I really do think it was integral, and I made a TikTok or a story about it, that it was integral that Stearns confirm and that the Mets confirm that Mendoza was staying. That
But
they're
not for
there's
he just said he's not like he didn't guarantee the whole year. He just said we're not making a change right now. So I think like if the
yeah,
Mets lost, 20 out of their next 30, 25 out of their next 30, I think Mendoza would be gone. But
yeah.
right now, I think cuz a lot of people thought they lost that game on Thursday, maybe Mendoza gets fired before they go on the road.
Mhm.
And, obviously it wasn't the case because Stearns came out and said that. And Cohen gave a little bit of reassurance to Stearns, too, who honestly, like, Mets Twitter has been calling for this guy's head like crazy. And, I'm a huge Stearns supporter, Stearns lover, but they kind of got a point because it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. But we'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if Mendoza's stuck. I mean, he's gone after this year, right? Like, there's no question about it. Even if they make the
Mhm.
playoffs, it's like he's gone. So we'll see about this the rest of the year. But yeah, yeah, big win for the Mets.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can we can head on over to the Braves.
There's
I
not much
suppose
here, right? Like,
there really is not much here. The Rockies, I went into this and, Mickey Moniak has truly just been incredible. I just a super quick shout out to Mickey Moniak. He had an absolutely incredible series, and it's just so funny to me that the Phillies just let him go, you know what I mean? And that he has just been incredible. I mean, he's been one of the best players in baseball, and that's not even like exaggerating. And
mm-hmm.
he was once again incredible against the Braves. And so he was definitely and there's definitely some hitters. I'm like obviously Hunter Goodman and Mickey Moniak and a couple others that have been okay. So this is definitely not the 2025 Rockies, not winning 50 games, but listen, they did kind of come up against us, and our pitching was not perfect in two of the games. Obviously, Sale in that second game, he was perfect. He's incredible. 11 strikeouts. It is just so fun having an ace like that on this team. But in the first game, Holmes looked really bad, man. I'm like, he has a 1.3 whip so far this season, a 4.3 ERA. It's been brutal. And I'm going to say this for obviously for both Holmes and Strider. Obviously, Mile High, it's tough, man. Balls just find their way onto the grass. They fly a little bit further, but listen, if the ball isn't finding the zone and guys are getting on base, that's not the ball finding grass, man. That's just inconsistency and bad pitching,
Yeah.
and that's what we have seen from Holmes right now. And I am very apprehensive right now in regards to this rotation because it's like, yes, we have a couple with Elder and Sale who have been really good, but it's kind of up in the air right now. We don't really know what it's going to look like. Obviously, with Hurst and Waldrop not being in the conversation right now, AJ Smith-Shawver not being ready, Schwellenbach, like a lot of guys that we're still missing. And Holmes really struggled, and they got out to this 6-0 lead. And I honestly thought that, okay, like, and I got like a text from my brother-in-law, Taylor, and he was like, I honestly think that this road trip is gonna humble us. And then lo and behold, it did not humble us because the Braves, as they have done so many times, came back. Dubon literally has been I've talked about it so much, has been my favorite player this entire year,
Mm-hmm.
has an incredible triple, just so nice. Riley finally comes through, gets that
He
sac
was
fly.
listening to the podcast, man.
He was
He was
clearly
listening to the
listening to the
pod.
podcast. There's a lot of people in that comment section, in that TikTok, that were coming for my head, saying I don't
Mm-hmm.
know ball. Listen, yes, is it a little early? But it's also not crazy to say. I'm like, Riley did not have an over an 800 OPS in the last 2 years, and a 5.8 OPS is really bad. And I personally believe that it's important to hold these players accountable. He's making $22 million a year,
100%.
man. Like
100%. You have to. Your job is baseball.
it's like your job is baseball. Your job is to make adjustments. And he did. He did make adjustments. It wasn't like out of the park like some of the other players. I'm like, you know, in the second game, Baldwin having a crazy day. But listen, Michael Harris obviously has just
Insane.
it's just a magical year for this guy, man. He is just coming in these clutch moments and just delivering
He just needs to
over
stay
and over.
healthy, man. He's had
Yeah,
too many injury scares where I'm like, okay, he's gonna have one where it's gonna land him on the IL. It's not gonna be day to day. So he's gotta. I don't know. Is it like he doesn't play smart? Like what is it? Because
I don't really know. I'm like, I think it's just some tightness, and I think that he's just kind of DHing, and but clearly Weiss knows that he can rely on him in big moments, and that homer was awesome. You could see that that meant so much to Michael. The fact that for him, just that confidence that it's just like, even if I am hurting, that I can come in and affect this team and win this team baseball games. So
and
it's
what's the
been
ceiling for Michael Harris? Is he 25, 25?
well, I think 30. I think 30-30 realistically. But
Really?
but then again, he hasn't really stolen that many bags this year. So
Mm-hmm.
and obviously he is dealing with these leg issues.
Hard
So
to steal
honestly,
bags when you just keep hitting home runs, though.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. So I honestly think it's less about a stolen base home run number as much as it's 20 to 25 bombs and an 850 OPS that we can
totally.
be focused on here,
Yeah.
getting on base and affecting this team and winning baseball games. So that was awesome. Got that 8-6 win. Then game two, man, Drake Baldwin and Chris Sale won this game for us. You know, Drake Baldwin went 3 for 4. A lot of Braves fans genuinely believe that Drake Baldwin can go and win the MVP. I don't think that he's going to be completely consistent and crazy like this the entire year. I genuinely believe that he's going to be incredible the whole year, but the MVP is
That's a
really,
crazy
really
take. I'm
difficult.
sorry. That's a crazy
Yeah,
take. Cal
I,
Raleigh didn't win it last year, and he had 60 home runs. Like,
exactly. I don't. I think that it's a little early to say that he's going to win the MVP, but I
his
think
teammate might.
it's
His
clear.
teammate.
His teammate might, but I think it's very clear to say that he's the best catcher in baseball. I've already said this, but yes, he went 3 for 4, 4 RBI, single double homer. You know, he's first in runs, tied second in hits, tied second in RBIs, and sixth in total bases. I'm like, he's a machine. He's inevitable. It's been awesome. And listen, Chris Sale, I already said it, 7 innings, 11 strikeouts, which is a season high for him. And that fastball has been his best pitch. And it is just so fast. It was so good. He has a 36% chase rate so far, man,
Wow.
and a
Wow.
.9 whip. I'm like, it has been so good. It's been so much fun. And listen, I talked about it. Riley found it in Mile High. He was 3 for 6. You know, finished the series 4 for 11. He had the home run. He had the RBIs. He even had a stolen base. And that home run, it was 438, absolute bomb. So it was good to see that Riley was contributing. And then finally
Wait, wait, wait,
today,
hold on, pump the brakes. I think we're missing a big part of yesterday's game. Game two.
what part am I missing? Am I
Have
missing
you
something?
yeah, have you heard of this guy Ronald Acuna Jr.? He kind of plays for the Braves.
I've talked
You
about
just want to
I've
like optimistically
I,
forget that or
I honestly was hoping I've talked about it already, but yes, obviously we can get into it. Yes, I was excited. I was excited to talk about the win today, but yes, obviously Ronald running to first. You could clearly see that something was wrong. That and a lot of people were saying it was a cramp. Then obviously they said he was going to get an MRI, and then it turned out to be a grade 1 hamstring strain. So it's obviously significantly better. Walt Weiss said himself, we were expecting it to be significantly worse, but we'll see, man. I don't know because I feel like the biggest concern with Ronald is even though Ronald has that confidence, and Ronald believes that every time he's going up to bat, he's going to hit a homer. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to be in the back of his head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That even once he comes back,
Playing
it's like,
scared. Yeah.
yeah, he's going to play scared. And I don't know what it's going to look like. And obviously we'll see in 10 days where we're at if he's going to be coming back. But it's the same thing every year with this where it's just like, okay, well, should they just take a second and take longer and let it heal? And
That's
but
kind of where I'd be at if I
yeah,
if I were you right now and the Braves are rolling, absolutely crushing the NL East. I'd probably say, "Hey Ronald, take as much time as you need. We'll be here, but you rest up and make sure that you are good because we're trying to do something special this year. We're going to make a big playoff run and we need you a part of it. And so we can't have these like tic-tac injuries turn into, a
yeah,
meniscus tear or something cuz honestly, my first instinct was, wow, his season could be over.
yeah,
It looked bad. I mean, like
yeah,
he has a flair for the dramatic, but it did
yeah,
not look like a cramp. There was something obviously wrong. So, prayers to Ronald Acuna. Hope he gets better. He's, obviously one of the best players in the game. We love to see him on the field, and yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be 3 weeks. I think the
yeah,
Braves will be fine.
yeah. We're fine because realistically, the guy leading off, even though he didn't produce particularly offensively today, it's still like he's a good leadoff hitter. He's fast and he kind of fits that leadoff hitter mold.
Hmm.
And it's like right now, offensively, we're about to get Sean Murphy back. It's fine. Baldwin and Olson have just been incredible. Michael Harris has been incredible. The offense is not going to be lacking without him, but obviously I wanted him to get more bats because it genuinely felt like he was kind of starting to find it. So we'll see. Obviously, I'm hoping that it's just kind of this strain and he's going to be fine. He's going to take the time and get back. And it was funny today. I don't know if you saw, he put a bunch of dirt in Ozzy Albies' glove during one of the innings, and Ozzy tried to put it on and he couldn't put it on his hand because there was so much dirt in his glove, and he was like shaking it out. So Ronald
It's
was
good
pulling
vibes.
prank,
Good
yeah,
vibes.
pulling pranks in the dugout. So I'm like, clearly he's not too down about it. I think he's confident. But yeah, so game three, we got to talk Spencer Strider. His first
Mm.
start, it was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it was pretty bad. He really struggled with finding the zone. He did have 6 strikeouts, but as we know, I'm like, he's Spencer Strider. He's gonna strike people out. But he did start the game, and I think one of his first fastballs was at 97. And I was like, oh shoot, there you go. There it
Mhm.
is. Amazing. Like I'm excited. And then it was not 97 a couple pitches later. And by the end, it was at 93, 92 miles per hour. And it was only three and a third. Listen, I want one more start before I'm genuinely gonna kind of put that judgment on, like, is the old Spencer Strider ever going to be back?
Mhm.
I think that is a main conversation between Braves fans, because it's like when we think about old Spencer Strider and the fact that he would come into games and realistically have 10 to 11 strikeouts every single game,
Yeah, you
and
could
you felt like,
pencil it in. It would be automatic.
and it's just like the fact that, will that ever be back? I don't know, man. It's just like I just don't know if we can say. I think that Spencer is a different pitcher now. I think that when that curveball is really good, and he added that curveball last year, it's really good. And I honestly think that Spencer needs to realize that he might not be that pitcher of old, and he needs to adapt and find ways to make that fastball crafty. If it's potentially turning it into a two-seam fastball,
Hmm.
trying to find ways to make that fastball miss bats more.
Right.
I like that is something.
He's no longer the hardest thrower in the majors like he once
Yeah,
probably was.
yeah.
I think you're being a little too nice to Spencer Strider.
Okay.
48 of 87 pitches for strikes. That's horrific.
Yeah.
Walked 5 I walked 5 guys. The Rockies, like we talked about it on last episode. This start, you could kind of throw it away no matter what happened.
Yeah.
He could have been Spencer Strider of old, and we would have said, it's the Rockies, and he could have sucked, and he kind of did suck, and we're like,
Yep.
oh, but it's Core's, first start back. But the fastball is concerning because,
Yeah.
to your point, like if he is not this guy anymore, if he is not the guy from 2022 and 2023, he needs to figure out a better way to pitch. You can't just overpower guys because he clearly doesn't have that capability anymore. I mean, if you're starting out at 97 and you're petering out at 93, 94, it's like, dang, dude, like
Yeah.
that's recipe for disaster right there
And
against
it's
a better team.
and it's like the fact with velocity pitchers, right? Is sometimes velocity pitchers, especially fastballs, it's like their fastballs are extremely flat. But it's like they're missing bats because they're so freaking fast you can't hit it.
Hmm.
But it's just like if you think you're overpowering, but you have a really flat fastball, but it's 92 to 93, I'm like, these are professional hitters. They can hit that. And it's just like, okay, like we know that you're going to attack us with that fastball, but we know that you're scared to throw that the off speed in the zone. It's just like hitters aren't stupid. And yes, there's going to be hitters that chased, and Six did chase today. He did have 6 strikeouts today, but yes, I'm going to put that on Rockies inexperienced hitters and or just bad Rockies hitters. I'm not going to put that because once he does face a better lineup, they're not swinging at that. So I don't really know what's going to happen with Spencer. I really think that he needs to make this adjustment, and we'll see if he does. But honestly, the star of the day is Jonah Heim. Man, just what a day! What a day for Jonah Heim. 5 RBIs. Him and Jorge Mateo went back to back, man. I'm like, if you were to tell me
It's
in
crazy.
2026 that Jonah Heim and
Insane.
Jorge Mateo would go back to back playing for the Atlanta Braves, I would be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is just
You probably
just
would
like,
have said who.
yeah, and it's yes. I'm like, obviously, though, people know Jonah Heim from 2023 in the World Series, and
Yep. Yep.
Baltimore Orioles fans know Jorge Mateo from his time in Baltimore. You know what I mean? But
And
it's just
they
like,
don't look fondly upon either of
yeah,
them in
yeah,
their whole
yeah,
career. So
yeah, not really. So it's just like the fact that these 6 through 9 hitters in the Braves lineup are just consistently producing, and then you're like, oh, well, does that mean that the top of the lineup isn't producing? No, we have 2 potential MVP candidates, or one MVP candidate, and one's really, really, or the best catcher in baseball. So it's just like, at some point,
I'm not ready to
it's,
crown him that.
well, that's okay. I'll do it for you. But honestly, the biggest moment of Game 3 was in the 5th inning. Eli White was up to bat with the bases loaded, and it was a big moment. It was 2 outs. I just want to quickly say, all my homies hate Bill Miller. Bill Miller, he's a terrible umpire, and he has a really high strike rate up in the zone. And he called a strike, and it was very clearly not a strike. And we had that ABS challenge, and we made it. And that is just so cool. That is just so dope that in that huge moment, no matter what baseball purists say, in that huge moment where selfish umpires would take matters into their own hands because they want that moment to strike him out with the bases loaded, and he doesn't get that moment, and we get that RBI walk, and it motivates us to move forward and end up winning that baseball game. That is so cool. I'm so glad that the ABS is here because it just makes moments where it's like, that is what it is. That is the
Mhm.
strike zone.
That's what it's.
That
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what, and that it makes baseball more fair. So that was a really cool moment. And listen, we make the sweep, and that solidifies the best start in Braves history since those Boston Bean Eaters in 1892. So this team is the best it has looked since 2023. Will we be super good and then choke in the postseason? We will see, and most likely we
Stay
will.
tuned. Stay
tuned.
tuned.
Stay tuned. But we did that in 2023. Here's hoping that we don't do it in
That's right.
2026.
That's right.
But we're really good, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so NL East, time to look. Let's start off with the Marlins. It has been an interesting time in Miami. The first game, a comeback falls short, but we've talked about them extensively, but now we've seen a full month of this. Otto Lopez and Xavier Edwards are legitimately the the best middle field infield duo in the majors right now.
Oh,
There's
easily. Yeah.
their slash line is 344, 415, and 490. They're the best in MLB right now, and Lopez leads the lead with 41 hits right now. You know what I mean? Like, it has been really cool to see that these two guys have locked in and are performing for their team, man. Like, it is some awesome baseball being played in Miami, and it's really exciting. And to just to see that they're kind of performing at this high level is awesome. But it came up short. Yuri Perez has another loss. It wasn't really a terrible box score
It
per se,
wasn't. It
but
wasn't. He's been
it's
he's been
just
just so mad lately. Like
yeah,
I was expecting a huge step forward from him, akin to like Chase Burns has looked right now, or Cam Schlittler, who's been one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball,
yeah,
and it just hasn't been that. Like he's not throwing enough strikes. He's just like he's trying to bite on the inside corner and it's just not working. He's trying to get guys to bite and he just ends up walking people and when the base runners start coming, it's like it's no
it's
good. And
tough.
so yeah, he's been disappointing for me so far. But game 2, Max Meyer looked awesome.
Incredible,
He looked
man.
really good.
Incredible.
7 innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk. I mean, his expected stats are not going to support the ERA that he has. Currently, he has a
Yeah, yeah,
2.68 ERA
yeah.
in let's say 5 or 6 starts.
I think
His
it's
X
seven now. Yeah, I
seven,
think it's
yeah,
seven
his
now. Yeah,
his
yeah,
his xERA is closer to 4. So,
yeah.
we're obviously expecting some regression there, but listen, he looked great and now this pitching staff who was underrated, I'll say, maybe undervalued, underlooked,
Yeah.
is the only staff other than the Yankees to have at least 4 of their starters go 7 innings. So clearly, Clayton McCullough is letting these guys have a lot of rope and seeing what they can do. And honestly, I'm in favor of it. And so they completely shut out the Phillies. Bender, Nardi closed it down. They looked really good. And like you said, Edwards and Lopez, man, they are just they
It's just every single game,
the
man. It's
gift that keeps
crazy.
on giving. Like they
Yeah.
just they just keep hitting. It's incredible. And then finally, game
This
3.
is it is like this is what I'm saying. And we've talked very nicely. We've been very nice to the Marlins on this podcast. We've been very optimistic. But listen, we can't take the Marlins seriously. This is the thing. They've always been little brother in this division because they do stuff like this. They don't make the move that is going to put them in the next level. And it's like, why is Chris Paddock still on this team? 6 runs in the first inning. Like, and unfortunately, the Marlins aren't the Braves. They don't have that full lineup of offense that you can confidently be like, okay, they're going to come back almost every single game. They didn't. They went down 6 runs, and usually most baseball teams, when they go down 6 runs in the first inning, they're not going to win that baseball game, and they didn't. And it's just Chris Paddock is so bad, and it's just like if the majors are going to take Miami seriously, they need to make a move. They
And
need to
it's
get
not
rid of
like
this guy.
and it's agreed. Totally co-sign all that. And it's not like they don't have guys that can fill in. They have 2 studs in AAA, Braxton Garrett and Robbie Snelling, both
Yeah,
with an ERA not over 2. Like Braxton Garrett 1.71 ERA, Robbie Snelling 1.86. I think Snelling is the more talented of the bunch.
yeah,
44 strikeouts in 29 innings is sick. And they need to call up this guy ASAP because Paddock, I know you're getting paid the third most amount on the team, I believe it is. But bro, like you are so washed. I remember when he was on Minnesota and we were like, why is this guy still in the
yeah.
league? And so it's so frustrating as a fan who wants to see the best players on the field know that that is not the best player that you could put out there. And then, not to add insult to injury for this loss, but a guy that I've spoken highly of, Augustine Ramirez, sent down to AAA,
Yeah,
which
but
sucks.
lucky for the Marlins, they have one of the best prospects, catcher prospects in baseball coming up in Joe Mack. You know what I mean? Like it is
Totally opposite in profiles, I'll say. Like,
yeah,
Augustine Ramirez, totally bat first, kind of a sucky catcher, for being honest. Joe Mack is all defense all the time. if he hits, that's great, but he is not here to hit. He is here for his defense, and the guy has a cannon. Like, it is just
Yeah,
incredible. And so I'm
absolutely.
excited to see what he does with that pitching staff, because now with finally like a good solidified catcher back there, I'm excited to see what happens.
Absolutely. And we head to their opponent, the other side of the field. In game one, Wheeler looked amazing. Man, I'm like he looked really good in Atlanta, and he could have very easily gone on to win that game. Unfortunately, his bullpen let him down. In this case, his bullpen also almost let him down, but they got it done in the end. And he pitched 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, and it was finally a win for him. The bullpen, as I said, tried to blow it, but Marlins struck out twice in the ninth and grounded out, and it wasn't to be. The main kind of offensive contribution for this series as a whole so far, obviously, we do know that the Phillies and the Marlins do play tomorrow as well.
Yes.
But Bryson Stott, two 3-run home runs, one in game one, one in game three. He made a comment. I read it today. Is he's like he's finally hitting them where they can't catch it. And it's just like he has been super unlucky, very similar to Ronald. He has been very unlucky. I didn't get a chance to look what his BABIP is, but I do think that it is very high.
Which is, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
these homers are totally surprising for Bryson Stott. This is not his game. His game is
it is
like
not at
slap
all.
hitting and, get on base by any means necessary. These home runs, if you're getting home runs from Bryson Stott, you feel pretty good about it.
Yeah,
But I'm
absolutely.
not expecting this to continue. But
No,
yeah,
absolutely
Bryson
not.
Stott had a huge series. And so we got to shout out Bryson Stott because, listen, I mean, they play around with him in the lineup too. They have him fifth sometimes, they have him eighth sometimes. So I think they're still trying to figure out what works exactly for him. But if you can get offense from him, you feel pretty good. And Harper's starting to find it a little bit more. Like I said in, I think the first
I
couple
think it's
episodes, we
I think it's
were,
now up to like an 890. I think it is up now at an
yeah,
890 OPS. So he is finding it now. Like,
he's
well, I will
okay.
give it
He's
like
okay.
it's I will say it's not necessarily in the RBI statistic as much as it's just getting on base and
Mhm.
setting other guys up. I obviously Bryce is at his best when he's hitting home runs and, rounding the bases and making those full contributions and being part of the highlight reel. You know what I mean? But
Eight
listen,
thirty two
yeah,
OPS right now.
eight
So
eight
just
thirty
a
two. Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
just a
I was a
shade
little,
below what
yeah.
I thought it would be for the year. I think he'll still finish as an 850 OPS. Like
Absolutely.
Dombrowski said, I don't think he's elite anymore. I don't think he's a 900 plus OPS.
Which is still insane that I still can't believe he said that. I
I,
still
I
can't
see
believe
both
he said
sides of
that.
the coin. I see
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to
yeah,
motivate your star player, but it
yeah,
just
yeah,
didn't it
but
just didn't work. And then
yeah.
yeah, the second game, offense. Did they
Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has those days. Realistically, literally two base runners.
tough?
It was just terrible.
Max
Four
Meyer,
zero,
man,
yeah, 4-0 loss.
shut him
Max
down.
Meyer was incredible. Really not much to talk about there. One to forget. And game three, man, as we already alluded to, Chris Paddock pitched. They took advantage of it. Another 3-run home run from Stott. And listen, they guarantee, even if they do lose tomorrow, they guarantee a split series, and that is back-to-back series. They sweep and then they split it, or potentially they win the series tomorrow, and that is 100% a step in the right direction. That's what you want to see. Mets won the series. Phillies potentially have the opportunity to win back-to-back series. Listen, that's all that you can ask for as Phillies and Mets fans to
Total
win these
and
series. Yeah,
yeah, and quick shout out to Jesus Luzardo, who was just mowing him
absolutely.
down today. Back to back games of 10 strikeouts are a great sign for Jesus Luzardo. As we've said all season long, the underlying stats love Jesus Luzardo. Currently,
Yeah.
he is a 5.09 ERA, but a 3.25 xERA. I mean, his chase rate 35.6, whiff 33.1. Like, this guy has the potential to be an absolutely elite pitcher, and the last couple games we're seeing it. And listen, if him, Wheeler, Sanchez, that is a formidable dare I say, playoff rotation if they get there. They have to get there.
No, one hundred
They have to
percent,
get
one
there,
hundred
but
percent.
I
But
would
they
not
got,
want to
but they
face
got to,
them.
they got to get there.
Totally.
They got to win some series. They got to prove because realistically, you're not a playoff team if you're having a game like that in literally two base runners. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not a playoff team. Playoff teams don't do that.
And then on
Um,
to the
yep.
final team of the
You're
NL
the one.
East.
You're the one that covered the Nats. So tell me about how they do against the Brewers.
It could have been better. Could have been
Okay.
better. It's a series
Okay.
loss where they only scored, let's count them, 5 total runs across the 3 games.
Ooh, man.
I don't know if you caught
Okay.
it in the first game. They faced this guy, Jacob Misiorowski, the Miz.
The Miz. I
Five
loved
and a
it.
third, no hit innings. He ends up coming out of the game with the trainer. So honestly, the Nationals are counting their lucky stars that he was out
Yeah.
of the game. Unfortunately,
Honestly.
it was too little, too late. They ended up losing 6-1. Dalen Lyle broke up the no hit bid in the 7th inning, so luckily they saved some dignity, not getting no hit.
Yeah.
But there wasn't much to say about the Nats that game, other than that their bullpen looked pretty good. And
Yeah.
then second game, Milwaukee again. Kyle Harrison just mowed him down.
Yeah.
Traded from the Red Sox for Caleb Durbin, I believe, and
Yeah.
he's just looked really good. He let up 1 run over 6 innings. Huge error from Brady House to allow 3 unearned runs. So, I mean, bad defense, not timely hitting. That's not a recipe for winning baseball games. And then today, they narrowly escaped a sweep. They won 3-2. They have been awful, awful at home. They have been 3
They're
and
like
12 at home.
quite literally one of the worst home teams. And this has been for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they don't, and I honestly don't know what it is, but I don't remember the last time a team has just been so abysmal at home, man. It's just teams come into Nats Park and it is just like they don't, and I will say ever since 2019, obviously 2019, that was a big moment for this Nats fan base. I struggle to find Nats fans, you know what I mean? It's not, there's not really
Mhm.
that
Once
fan
Harper
base.
left. Yeah, once Harper left, it was
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah. So I definitely think that I think sometimes these players probably are like, where's the fan base?
mhm.
You know what I mean? And obviously I think that's a part of it, but then again, also listen, I'm like, there's also a lot of other teams that are not necessarily great teams, but are still playing well at home. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, something interesting real quick, something interesting about this series: 0 home runs across all 3 games, which I thought was
oh, okay.
really interesting because
Yeah, that is
obviously
interesting.
that's the Brewers' brand of baseball. Not hitting home runs, but having situational hitting, good base running. The Nationals, they've hit some home runs this year between Wood and Abrams. So, the ability to hit home runs was not there this weekend. I think the weather was a little chilly in DC. I'll say.
Yeah.
But really interesting to see that the Brewers, man, they could win games any way possible. So
Truly. Yeah.
good for them. Great series for the Brewers. Not so great for the Nats. Hopefully they turn it around. But let's move on to our panic levels for our teams.
hmm
I said 0 last time because it couldn't get much worse, and there was no panic because I had no expectations. I gotta be at the same point, honestly. Like they're still in the cellar of the NL. They're still in the cellar of the NL East, and so it's just like if they go 5-1 the next 6 games, then I'll start to believe a little bit. If they're maybe 4 or 5 games back of the wild card, then maybe. But it's a 0 right now. It's such Mets. Just such Mets lore that like Ronnie would hit that huge home run and then fracture his thumb the next game. Like that is just so LOL Mets. But honestly, maybe a blessing in disguise. Bichette back at shortstop, Beatty at third, like their primary positions where they feel good. Bichette has looked a lot better at third base, I'll say. But yeah, so we'll see about this series coming up. Like I said, 0 optimism considering that they got swept by the Rockies last time. So if they take 2 of 3, I'll be ecstatic. If they sweep, I might run around the streets. So, we'll see. But
We'll see.
but they every day. One day at a time.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to keep saying zero, so I said two, and the only reason I said two, and I already kind of talked about it, is the rotational depth right now. Eventually, we're gonna face good teams, and eventually our luck is gonna run out. I'm like, we still have not lost a series, and it's insane that we have not lost a series, man. Like we're winning, we keep winning, and
Yeah.
eventually, like this is baseball, this is the major leagues. Eventually, your luck runs out. Eventually, you're gonna start losing games. There's a reason why you hitting 300 is good in this game, because eventually you lose games, eventually just baseball happens, man. So eventually we're going to run into good teams. We play the Dodgers,
Hmm.
and it's so funny because it's like I say we're going to run into the Dodgers, but the Dodgers have honestly kind of struggled a
They've been
little bit
mid. They've been
recently.
mid.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't, but if you look further into the schedule, we are going to face good teams. So I think that the rotation is definitely up. We'll see, but I eventually it's going to run out, and eventually we will be humbled. And at that point, how we respond to it, which I believe we have the ability, because this offense is incredible, we will respond to it and show that we are the best team in baseball. But I honestly need it. I need that adversity. I need it to happen, because that's the only way that we can truly prove that we are the best team in baseball. So we'll see. Okay, quickly, the player of the series. Obviously, you have kind of talked about, yours, but you can talk about it a little bit more in depth if you want.
Absolutely. Player of the series goes to Mark Vientos. Can't believe it. Once again, this guy just like he is so Jekyll and Hyde. Like they'll be in a
Truly,
losing
truly,
streak and
man.
posting on Instagram, and then he'll hit 2 home runs and win them the game on Sunday. And so I can't be mad at him. But his defense then frustrates me. Like he is just such a frustrating player. But it's got to go to Swaggy V, Mark Vientos, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. He was basically the entire offense on Sunday. Without him, no win whatsoever. And listen, if he can get back to 2024 postseason Swaggy V, he was confident as hell. He was cocky as hell. Like, if he can get back to that point and put up the numbers that prove that, then I'm feeling okay. Then I feel okay about
Okay.
keeping Mark Vientos, because if you asked me last week about Mark Vientos, I would have said DFA him. When they got swept from the Rockies, I said DFA Mark Vientos, but
And I'm sure you'll be back next week and you'll
oh,
say
100%. He's just that kind of guy. Like Mets Twitter is all over him. He's just a very polarizing player. Will he get DFA'd? Will he win you the game? Who knows? Will he post on Instagram? Absolutely.
Absolutely. And listen, I completely agree with you. He is all over the place. He has the largest ego I think I've seen on the Mets, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of players that had incredible series, but I got to give it to Austin. It was 4 for 11, a home run and 4 RBIs, but it's more about the principle of him finding it and taking competitive at bats. He did that. Hopefully he listened to the podcast or saw the TikTok and all the people defending him in the comments, and he made it happen. But it's that time, and this is our first player of the month.
Drum roll,
Drum roll, please.
please.
Matt Olson has been incredible. You text me this.
Congratulations, Matt Olson.
Congratulations, Matt
Congratulations.
Olson. He has a 650 slug. Like we gotta like he has been incredible, man. I'm like he has a 1030 OPS, man. It has been incredible stuff from Matt. I'm like he leads the NL in OPS. He leads the majors in RBIs, and I feel like he's the easy choice. He is Mr. Iron Man. He is showing up every single day, and if he was showing up and just playing first base, it would be one thing, but he is the heart of this offense with Drake Baldwin, and it is so fun to see. And he gets the Player of the Month honor. So congratulations to him, and hopefully he can continue keep it up. But I don't really feel like I have to hope, because it just seems like he is that consistent. So congrats, Matt Olson.
Congrats, Matt Olson. And for those of you who want some other names for Player of the Month,
Mhm.
you're going to be shocked. It's going to be two other Braves. It's going to be Drake Baldwin, who has rivaled Matt Olson in basically every category. I mean, his numbers are just sick, and from a guy who's never done it before, unlike Matt Olson. And then Chris Sale. Chris Sale has been so good.
So good,
I mean,
man.
maybe I'm blinded a little bit by the 7 innings, 11 strikeouts. That helps make the numbers look nice and pretty, but He has
But that
been
whip is insane. But that whip is
Whip
insane,
is
man. It's so
insane.
good.
Like
It's so good, man.
he has been really great. I know a lot of people that were nervous coming into the season for him. 37 years old, but like we said on the podcast, it's not like he was facing an arm injury. He didn't have anything wrong with his mechanics. He broke, he fractured, what was it? His arm?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so, it's something that was totally unrelated to his mechanics. I absolutely thought that he was going to be back, and he totally is. So shout out to every single Braves player, honestly, is how it feels.
And we can also easily say, I'm sure Marlins fans will be like Otto Lopez and Xavier Edwards have been leading the majors, and Liam
Hicks.
Hicks. So I honestly think the two best teams have been the Miami Marlins and the Atlanta Braves.
Yep.
They have amazing players, but Matt Olson is taking home the honors, and we'll look forward to see what May brings. And I'm sure it'll be an awesome person to take that. Looking ahead for the Braves, I looked at this Mariners series and I was like, okay, we're going to be playing a really good team. And then they got swept by literally like the Royals, who have been pretty much one of the worst offenses in baseball. The pitching staff is all over the place
Hmm.
and like even worse than the Mets, you know what I mean? And Mets and Phillies, and they get swept by them. So I don't really know what's going on. The pitching staff has been honestly really brutal. Like
It's been
Kirby,
weird. Like, they have
yeah,
great pitchers that have looked awful. Like, Brian
awful.
Wu has looked really bad 2 times in a row. But then you have Emerson Hancock, who strikes out 14 yesterday. So it's like, it's anyone's guess. But, I mean, based off of name talent alone, they have really good pitchers. I think J.R.
Yeah.
Ritchie versus Logan Gilbert, I got to give the nod to Logan Gilbert. We'll see
Oh
if the
yeah.
Braves
Oh yeah.
offense could
Obviously,
totally, yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
yeah. A lot of pressure for J.R. Ritchie. Obviously, a homecoming from him. He's from the Seattle area, so that's going to be very cool for him. I definitely think he's going to be feeling the pressure. So we're going to see what he's made of there. But honestly, I'm like, the Mariners are 25th in average and 20th in OPS. I'm like, it has not been great, man. So we'll see. But as I've said, I feel like the Braves' luck is eventually going to run out. We're eventually going to lose a series. And I think it's going to be either the Mariners or the Dodgers. So I'm honestly saying right now 1-2 because I think we're eventually going to lose. But listen, I thought that we weren't going to sweep the Rockies and we did. So I really just don't know at this point. Maybe we just keep winning. We'll see. But right now, I'm going to
Yeah.
say 1-2.
Yeah, talk about the Rockies. Mets about to face the Rockies.
Yep.
They'll probably get swept, knowing the Mets. Again, they'll get swept by the Rockies, lose 6 to the Rockies. But no, I don't know. I have no expectations, like I said. Like, it could be huge for the offense. This could be really a big breakout for a lot of the guys that have been struggling so far. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. Tomorrow, they have not announced a starter yet, but David Peterson will be following whoever's the opener. My
Okay.
guess is it's Sean Manaea
Yeah.
because he hasn't pitched since the 28th, but honestly, it's anyone's guess.
Yeah, but
But
the last time those two guys pitched together,
yeah,
it was
David
just a horror.
Peterson
It
might
was a
have the
horror movie.
worst
Yeah,
start of he might have the worst start of his career in Colorado because this guy is just loves to give up extra base hits, and so that really scares me in Colorado. So I'm very unconfident in that one. But then Tuesday, you have Peralta against Lorenzen. Of course, Lorenzen shut the Mets down for about 7 innings last start at Citi Field that I was at. So we'll see if he could do it again at Coors. It's a little different. He's always shoved against the Mets. And Freddie Peralta, man, I just want you to get to the 7th inning. Please get to the 7th inning. Show me that you can give some length to this staff because we are in desperate need of it. Besides Clay Holmes, he's the only one that's giving length. And so Freddie Peralta, I need a big start out of you. And then Wednesday, we got Christian Scott against Jose Quintana. Another revenge game for Quintana. He'll probably pitch really well against the Mets. Christian Scott looking to take a step forward from that last start, looking to build on that because he did, like we said earlier, he looked good in the second start that he made. Not so great in the first one, good second one, looking to kind of take that next step on the third one. And so listen, if you want, I mean, it's going to be so cold there tomorrow that they moved up the game. It was supposed to be 8:40 local time start. It's now a 5:40 local game start because it's going to be
Oh,
so
good.
cold.
Good
They're
for
expecting snow. Yeah, it helps my sleep schedule a little bit. They're expecting snow in Colorado, so who knows what that'll be like, but I want to say 2-1. I really want to say 2-1, but I don't know. I just don't know because I don't know this team yet. I don't know Faced with adversity so far this year, they have been doing nothing. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's a little bit more than that. And I would love a 2-1 because listen, they got to start winning some series, as you said. They got to start stringing along some series wins. So that would be huge. But like I said, not expecting a ton, but would love it obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that will wrap it up for today, episode 10. Thank you for joining. Please leave a comment, follow us on socials, and please stay tuned to socials. We will have a special announcement coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. And this has been Division Therapy. Peace.
Peace.